Hi, and welcome to Ginger English. I'm Sarah, and today we have a B1 level podcast for you. Okay, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of story that makes you put down your phone, sit up straight, and just listen. Imagine waking up one morning, totally normal Tuesday, and grabbing your coffee, checking your phone like you always do. And then you see it. Your name in the news, not in a good way. Not like local guy wins lottery or man saves dog from river. No, your full name, your face, your photo, right there on the screen. And the headline says something like, Atlanta man goes off on elderly woman at grocery store. And you're sitting there thinking, what? When did this happen? Because you don't remember it. You don't remember it because, as far as you know, it never happened. That is exactly what Jason Cole woke up to one morning in October. A regular 34-year-old guy from Atlanta, a manager at a mid-sized logistics company, someone who, by all accounts, was just normal, not famous, not controversial, just a guy with a job, an apartment, and a fantasy football league he was absolutely losing. And within 24 hours of that video going viral, he lost everything: his job, his reputation, his sense of reality. But here's the thing. Here's the part that keeps me up at night when I think about this story. Jason Cole says he never did it. He says that video, the one that ruined his life, is fake. And what his sister found when she started digging, I'm telling you, it will make your jaw drop. We're going to get into all of it today. Every single detail. So stay with me, because this one goes deep. So let's start at the very beginning. Because to understand what happened to Jason, you need to understand who Jason is. And I mean, really understand him. Not just the headline version, not the guy in the viral video. The real person. Jason grew up in a small town outside of Atlanta. Grew up pretty quietly, actually. His parents worked hard. His dad drove trucks. His mom was a school nurse. Nothing fancy, nothing dramatic. Jason was the kind of kid who did his homework, stayed out of trouble, played basketball on weekends. Normal. Honestly, almost boring in the best possible way. He went to Georgia State, studied business, graduated in the middle of his class. He got a job at a logistics company called TriPoint Solutions. Jason worked his way up over 6 years from a junior coordinator to an operations manager. His boss genuinely liked him. Outside of work, Jason was a homebody. He had a small group of close friends from college. He went to the gym 3 times a week. He cooked on Sundays. He had a cat named Biscuit. The point is, there was absolutely nothing in Jason Cole's history that suggested he was the kind of person who would scream at a 70-year-old woman in a Kroger on a Wednesday morning. Nothing. And yet, there was the video. The video was 47 seconds long. That's it. 47 seconds that completely destroyed a man's life. It starts in the middle of an aisle. Looks like the cereal aisle, actually. You can see the bright yellow Cheerios boxes in the background, and there's a man, tall, dark jacket, close-cut hair, standing over a small elderly woman. She's maybe 5'2", white hair, holding on to her shopping cart like it's the only thing keeping her upright, and the man is yelling, not just raising his voice, yelling, pointing his finger right in her face. At one point, he steps closer, and she physically flinches back. The video has no sound for the first few seconds. Then it cuts in, and you can hear him saying something about being in his way, about people like her slowing everyone down. It was ugly. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't. If that video was real, it was genuinely awful to watch. Someone posted it on TikTok at around 6 a.m. on a Thursday. By noon, it had 2 million views. By evening, it was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook groups, Reddit threads. Local Atlanta news picked it up, then national news. And here's what the internet does in these moments. It doesn't wait. It doesn't ask questions. It finds the person. It finds their workplace. It finds their LinkedIn profile. And it starts making calls. By 2 p.m. that same day, Jason's employer, TriPoint Solutions, had already received over 300 emails and calls demanding they fire him. People were tagging the company in posts. People were leaving one-star reviews on their Google page. The pressure was enormous, and it came fast. Jason's boss, a man named David Park, called Jason into his office at 4:30 p.m. Jason said he walked in and David looked uncomfortable. Not angry, uncomfortable. Like he didn't want to be having this conversation. He showed Jason the video on his laptop, and Jason watched it. And then he said, "David, I don't know what that is, but that's not me. I was not at that Kroger. I don't even shop at that location." David Park said he believed him. He actually said those words. But then he also said, and this is the part that really gets me, "It doesn't matter what I believe right now, Jason. What matters is what's online." And just like that, after 6 years, Jason Cole was placed on indefinite administrative leave, which in plain English means you're done. We're just not saying it out loud yet. Jason walked out of that building at 4:47 p.m. He sat in his car in the parking lot for 20 minutes. He didn't call anyone. He didn't cry. Not yet. He just sat there, staring at the steering wheel, trying to figure out how his Tuesday had turned into this. When he finally got home, Biscuit the cat was sitting on the kitchen counter, completely unbothered. And Jason said later that for just a second, looking at that cat, he almost laughed. Because Biscuit didn't care about the video. Biscuit just wanted to be fed. Sometimes the most normal things are the ones that keep you sane. But the night was going to get a lot harder before it got better. That night, Jason's phone did not stop. And I don't mean he got a lot of texts from friends checking in. I mean strangers, hundreds of them. He didn't even know how people got his number, but they did. That's the internet for you. Give it a name and 20 minutes, and it will find your phone number, your address, your mom's Facebook page, and the restaurant you checked into 4 years ago. The messages ranged from angry to genuinely frightening. People calling him names. People saying he should lose his job, which had already happened. People saying much worse things that I'm not going to repeat here. A few people even sent messages to his mother. His mother, who is 61 years old and lives in Marietta and has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. Jason turned his phone face down at around midnight, but he couldn't sleep. He just lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, going over and over the same question in his head. Where was I that morning? Because here's the thing. The video was posted Thursday morning, and Jason genuinely could not remember every detail of his Wednesday. It was a regular day. He worked from home that morning. He had emails, a team call at 11, a lunch he made himself. But did he go out? Did he stop anywhere? He wasn't sure. And that uncertainty, that tiny normal human moment of not remembering a random Wednesday, was suddenly terrifying. At about 1 a.m., he called his sister. Nicole Cole is 2 years older than Jason. She lives in Decatur, about 20 minutes away. She works as a paralegal, which becomes very important later. Jason said when she picked up, she already knew. She'd seen the video hours ago and had been waiting for him to call. He told her everything. The call from David, the parking lot, Biscuit, the messages, all of it. And Nicole listened without interrupting, which, if you knew Nicole, Jason said, was unusual. She was not someone who stayed quiet for long. When he finished, there was a pause. And then Nicole said, "Okay, first, do not post anything online. Not a word. No statement, no denial, nothing. Second, think hard. Where were you Wednesday morning? And is there anything that proves it?" Jason thought about it. And then he remembered something. He had ordered groceries that Wednesday, delivered to his apartment. He had a receipt. He had a delivery notification with a timestamp. He had been home. He had to have been home. Nicole told him to screenshot everything and send it to her immediately. And then she said something that Jason said he'll never forget. "I don't know who made that video, Jay, but somebody did, and I'm going to find out who." Jason said that in that moment. For the first time since he woke up and saw his name in the headlines, he felt something other than panic. Not hope exactly, but something close to it. Like maybe, just maybe, this wasn't completely over. He finally fell asleep around 3 a.m. And when he woke up the next morning, Nicole had already been up for 2 hours. Working. Nicole Cole is the kind of person who makes lists. Not just grocery lists or to-do lists, actual organized, color-coded, numbered lists. Jason always made fun of her for it growing up, but that Friday morning, sitting at her kitchen table with 3 tabs open on her laptop and a yellow legal pad next to her coffee, those lists were exactly what they needed. She started with the video itself. She watched it 11 times, not because she enjoyed it, but because she was looking for details. Small things, things that most people scrolling on TikTok would never notice. And she found a few. First, the lighting. Nicole noticed that the lighting in the video shifted slightly in a way that didn't make sense for a continuous recording. Like 2 different clips had been put together. It was subtle. Really subtle. But once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. Second, the jacket. The man in the video was wearing a dark green jacket. Jason owned a jacket that color. But when Nicole asked Jason to find it and send her a photo, he dug through his closet and found it immediately, hanging right there, unworn, with a dry cleaning tag still on it. He'd picked it up the week before and hadn't worn it since. Third, and this one stopped Nicole cold, the timestamp didn't match. The video was posted on Thursday morning, supposedly filmed on Wednesday, but in the background of one frame, just for a second, you could see a newspaper rack near the store entrance, and the headline visible on the front page. It was from a Tuesday edition, 2 days before the incident was supposed to have happened. Nicole stared at that detail for a long time. She wrote it all down. Then she did something that Jason hadn't thought to do. She went back to the original TikTok account that posted the video. The account was brand new, created just 4 days before the video went up. 0 followers, 0 other videos. Just this one post that had somehow gotten 2 million views in 12 hours. That doesn't happen by accident. Videos don't go from 0 to 2 million that fast unless something pushes them. An algorithm boost, a big account sharing it, or, and Nicole circled this on her legal pad, someone coordinating it. She started looking at the comments on that original post, and buried in there, under thousands of angry reactions, she found something strange. A handful of accounts, all also brand new, all with no profile pictures, had commented within the first 10 minutes of the video going up, before it had more than a few hundred views. Comments like, "I knew this guy was like this," and "not surprised at all," as if they already knew who Jason was. Nicole took screenshots of every single one. Then she called Jason and said 4 words. "Someone planned this, Jay." And the question was, who? Who had the time, the knowledge, and the reason to build a fake video, create fake accounts, and carefully destroy one specific man's reputation? Jason had no idea, but Nicole was starting to have a feeling. Nicole's feeling had a name: Marcus Webb. Marcus Webb had worked at TriPoint Solutions for 3 years. He and Jason had started around the same time, and for a while they were actually friendly. Lunch together sometimes, a few after-work drinks with the team, the usual office stuff. But about 18 months before the video appeared, something changed. There was a promotion. Senior operations manager. Both Marcus and Jason were up for it, and Jason got it. Marcus did not take it well. At first, it was small things: being cold in meetings, not responding to Jason's messages, skipping team events. Jason tried to talk to him once, offered to grab coffee, smooth things over. Marcus said he was fine. He was very clearly not fine. Then it escalated. Marcus started making complaints to HR. Small ones at first. He said Jason gave him unfair workloads, said Jason took credit for his ideas in one presentation. HR looked into it, found nothing serious, filed it away. But the complaints kept coming. Over the following year, Marcus filed 6 separate complaints against Jason. 6, and every single one was either unproven or dropped. Jason told Nicole all of this on the phone that Friday. He'd never really connected it before, or maybe he just didn't want to. But as he was talking, he suddenly stopped mid-sentence and said, "Nicole, Marcus knows what jacket I wear. He sat across from me for 3 years." Nicole was quiet for a second. Then she said, "And he knows which Kroger is near your apartment, because you two used to go there for lunch sometimes, right?" Jason felt sick. But feeling sick and having proof are two very different things. Nicole knew that better than anyone. She was a paralegal. She understood that suspicion without evidence is just a story. And right now, they had a story. What they needed was facts. So Nicole did what she always does. She made another list. She needed to find out, did Marcus have any technical skills that would allow him to create a deepfake or edited video? Did he have access to footage of Jason? Was there any connection between Marcus and those brand new TikTok accounts? The technical skills part turned out to be easier to find than she expected, because Marcus Webb had a side hobby that was right there on his own LinkedIn profile, if you looked carefully enough. Under interests, video editing and digital media production. He'd even listed a freelance project from 2 years ago, promotional videos for a local business. Nicole stared at that for a long time. It didn't prove anything. Lots of people edit videos, but combined with everything else, the motive, the knowledge of Jason's routine, the jacket, the location, it was building into something that was very hard to ignore. She called Jason back and said, "I think I know what happened. Now I need to prove it." And to do that, she was going to need help from someone inside the company. The person Nicole needed was a woman named Tasha Briggs. Tasha worked in IT at TriPoint Solutions, had been there for almost 8 years. She and Nicole had gone to the same college, kept in touch over the years, the kind of friendship where you don't talk for months and then pick up right where you left off. Nicole called her that Saturday morning and explained everything. Tasha listened carefully, and then she said, "Give me until Monday." Nicole didn't ask what she was going to do. She trusted her. Meanwhile, the internet was still going. The original TikTok video had been taken down, probably reported enough times that the platform removed it, but that didn't matter anymore. It had been saved, reshared, screenshot, and posted across a dozen other platforms. The damage was already done. Local Atlanta blogs were writing about it. One true crime podcast had already mentioned Jason by name. Jason spent that weekend mostly indoors. He didn't want to go outside. He said the idea of being recognized, of someone pointing at him on the street the way people were pointing at him online, made him feel physically ill. He cleaned his apartment 3 times. He reorganized his kitchen cabinets. He watched old basketball games he'd already seen. Anything to keep his brain busy. Sunday night, Nicole came over. She brought food, jerk chicken from the place Jason liked, and they sat at his kitchen table and didn't talk about the video for almost an hour. They talked about their mom, about a cousin's wedding coming up in the spring, about nothing important. And Jason said that hour, that one normal, quiet hour, was the thing that kept him going through the whole mess. Monday morning, Tasha called Nicole. What Tasha had done, carefully, quietly, completely, within what her IT role allowed her to access, was look at the company's internal communication logs, not private messages, not emails, just metadata. Who connected to what systems, when, from which devices? Dry, technical stuff that most people would find completely boring. But buried in that dry, boring data was something very interesting. The week before the video went viral, someone had accessed the company's shared drive, the folder where old team photos and presentation files were stored. Photos that included Jason. That access came from Marcus Webb's work login late at night, after office hours, and 3 days later, the video appeared online. Nicole called Jason immediately. She read him what Tasha had found, slowly, so he could write it down. When she finished, there was a long silence. Then Jason said, "That's him. That's how he got the footage." They now had a motive, a timeline, digital evidence of access, and a clear connection between Marcus Webb and the materials used to make the video. It wasn't a confession, but it was enough, more than enough, to take to someone with real authority. Nicole already had a lawyer in mind, a friend from work who handled exactly these kinds of cases. She made the call that afternoon. The lawyer's name was Darren Hall. Sharp, calm, the kind of person who speaks slowly because he knows exactly what he's going to say before he says it. Nicole sent him everything that same Monday evening, the screenshots, the timestamps, Tasha's metadata report, the grocery delivery receipt, the dry cleaning tag photos, the newspaper rack detail, all of it in one clean document. Duran reviewed it overnight. Tuesday morning, he called Nicole and said 3 words. "This is solid." He filed a formal complaint with TriPoint Solutions legal department that same day. Not a lawsuit? Not yet. Just a formal documented complaint stating that Jason Cole was the victim of deliberate defamation, that there was evidence pointing to a specific employee, and that the company had an obligation to investigate before taking any permanent action against Jason. TriPoint's legal team moved fast. By Wednesday, less than a week after the video first appeared, the company launched an internal investigation. Marcus Webb was placed on administrative leave. His work devices were collected. And then things started unraveling very quickly for Marcus. When the company's IT team did a proper forensic review of his work laptop, they found something Tasha's quick look hadn't reached. Drafts, actual draft files of the video edit, incomplete versions, layers, the kind of digital fingerprints that are almost impossible to fully delete unless you really know what you're doing. And Marcus knew enough to make the video, but not quite enough to cover every track. They also found the fake TikTok accounts. Linked to an email address registered through Marcus's home internet connection, together with everything else, it was overwhelming. Marcus Webb resigned before the company could formally terminate him. No statement, no apology. He just quietly disappeared on a Thursday morning, 11 days after the video first went up. But the story wasn't over, because the internet, the same internet that had destroyed Jason in 24 hours, now needed to know the truth. Darren advised Jason to make one statement: short, clear, factual. No anger, no drama, just the facts. Jason recorded a 90-second video from his apartment, just him, sitting at his kitchen table with Biscuit visible on the couch behind him, completely asleep. He explained that the video was fabricated, that an internal investigation had confirmed it, and that he was grateful to everyone who had waited for the truth. He posted it on a Friday afternoon. By Sunday, it had 4 million views, 3 times more than the original fake video. TriPoint Solutions issued a public statement reinstating Jason with full back pay. David Park called him personally and apologized. Jason's job was waiting for him whenever he was ready. Jason took 2 more weeks before going back. He needed the time. Not for anger, just to breathe. So, here we are, the end of the story. And I want to take a moment before we wrap up because I think this one deserves it. Jason Cole went back to work. He got his job back, his back pay, and eventually, after Darren filed a separate civil suit, a settlement from Marcus Webb that I'm not allowed to share the exact number of, but let's just say it was significant. Marcus never publicly admitted what he did, but the evidence spoke for itself, loudly. The elderly woman in the video, the one who looked so frightened, investigators were never able to identify her, which led some people to believe she was never real at all, that the whole scene was staged or created digitally. We may never know the full answer to that part, and Jason, he's doing okay. Better than okay, actually. He went back to TriPoint, but about 6 months later, he left on his own terms. Got a better offer at a different company, bigger role, more money. He says what happened changed him, but not in the way you might expect. He's not bitter. He's not paranoid. He's just more aware, more careful about who he trusts, and a little more patient with people because he knows firsthand how fast a story can become real before anyone checks if it's true. Nicole started a blog about digital rights and online defamation, how regular people can protect themselves. It's really good. I'll try to find the link and put it in the description. And Biscuit the cat is still completely unbothered by everything, as cats tend to be. But here's what I keep coming back to when I think about this story. 47 seconds. That's all it took. 47 seconds of fake video to erase 6 years of a man's reputation. His job, his income, his sense of safety, gone in less than 24 hours. And the people who hit share, who sent the angry emails, who left the 1-star reviews, most of them were just reacting. They saw something that looked real. It made them angry, and they acted on that anger immediately. We all do it sometimes. I've done it. You've probably done it too. And that's the uncomfortable part of this story. It's not just about one jealous coworker with video editing skills. It's about how fast we move online, how little we pause, how rarely we ask, wait, do I actually know this is true? Jason got his life back, but not everyone does. There are people right now whose names are in headlines for things they didn't do. And they don't have a Nicole. They don't have a Tasha. They don't have a Darren. They're just alone with a phone full of hateful messages and no idea where to start. So the next time something hits your feed and makes you furious, just pause. 1 second. Ask yourself, do I know this is real? That's all, just 1 second. If this episode made you think, please share it with someone. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. New episodes every week. Leave a comment below. I read every single one. I'm Sarah, this is Ginger English, and I'll talk to you next time.